All right, we are videoing. Andy, let me introduce to you Steve.
Hi, Andy.
And let me introduce to you your axle in pieces. And Steve is, while I visit and do stuff with the camera, Steve will give you a tour of what he's done so far.
Well, first off, obviously, we took it all apart, which is how come we have all these big pieces and chunks here. We cleaned everything. We have a big box of old bearings and bushings and worn out parts. We have reconditioned the backing plates, cleaned them all up, painted them all up, reconditioned the seal plates and put new seals in, brand new wheel bearings and retaining rings. Same on this axle, I just have it covered for protection. These will, when it all goes together, slide into the axle tubes, which we have reconditioned, cleaned all up, painted, have new seals.
Not in this one,
not in this one, yeah, because we have to. This one, you can see there's the new axle tube seal down here, this green piece. Brand new bushings where the swing axle swings. The differential carrier mount assembly has a brand new bushing in it that will, let's see, this fits on the side here, and the differential mounts to it through this hole. We have all new bushings that'll go on this where it attaches to the car. You'll get a nice new rubber accordion boot that fits on this axle and goes to the differential, which is this piece here, which we have completely disassembled and are in the process of putting back together. We have replaced inside, this is your pinion gear. There's a bearing in here that we have replaced that is brand new. There's a bearing in here that's been inspected and serviced. New seal. All this has been reconditioned, repainted, as you can see. We haven't painted these yet because during the assembly we're going to need to fiddle with that. This is the differential unit itself with your ring gear and your spider gears. And this is what we're going to be working on next, is this, because this has, I don't know if it'll pick up on the video or not, but that clicking sound is play in these teeth, and that should not be there. So we're going to have to take this entire assembly apart and take all these gears out and re-shim them so that they function correctly. And then when we're done with that, new bearings go on here. This goes in here so that this gear meets with this gear, and then the axle tubes go on, and the next thing you know, it's back like it was, except brand new instead of old and greasy.
And one of the things you asked us about, Andy, was who'd been in there before, or wear and tear or mileage, and we were noticing that the ring and pinion looked really, really beautiful, just almost like brand new, compared to the spider gears, which looked like they had more wear on them. So
we also noticed when we took it apart, there's a carrier in here that has, when you put these bolts in, it leaves a mark on that carrier ring, and that carrier ring had 2 sets of marks on it, which indicates that these have been out and back in at least once, and normally those would only come out if you take the pinion out.
So we're not quite sure how to answer your question, except we know people have been in here, but overall it looks good, so maybe they were in here and replaced things. We can't tell, except it looks real good in there, except we do have excess play on the spiders.
If somebody did work on it, they knew what they were doing.
So that sounds pretty good. Anything else we come over here?
No.
Well, we've got part of his drive shaft here, which is cleaned up, and going to get new U-joints. As I recall, those U-joints are real stiff.
Right. We're going to replace the center bearing and all that. We just haven't done it yet.
What else? We
have a nicely polished up, cleaned up shaft here. This is the shaft that goes through the differential, through here and through there, and the carrier that fits in the space there. That all goes together.
That's where everything pivots on that big steel shaft, and that was in good shape. Hadn't been beat up or anything.
Right. We have all new pieces, parts for it, so
okay,
should be as good as when the car was new.
Excellent. Thank you, Andy.